Good morning. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and rocking with us for another edition of the Morning Breeze, man. Always rocking with you guys, as always, man. Outside of me, I got my guy, Mr. Media himself, Jordan JC, in the building.
Hello.
Apologies for the tardiness. Start to the morning. I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't expect that of a 10-year-old dog.
It's always an adventure.
It's always an adventure here at the designer household. Started my morning. I'm like, trash day. Let's get the trash out early, baby. Here we go.
Yeah. And then what?
There's a thrashed possum in my backyard as we speak because I didn't have time to go clean up the aftermath. I'm hoping he's just playing possum.
No, I think he actually is.
He did not look like he was just playing possum, no. He looked like he was committed to the bit. But with all that being said, we got breaking news as the Chicago Bears have re-signed DeMarco Jackson and Daniel Hardy. We'll talk about those two re-signings of the team. Also got to talk about the rumor around Jaylen Carter. This popped up over the weekend, and the Bears are a team that has been linked to Jaylen Carter should the Bears make that move. And we're going to give you our 3 free agents that the Chicago Bears have to re-sign. I'm not going to lie, I got to adjust one because we just did. All that more in today's episode of The Morning Breeze. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Big shout out to you guys for tuning in and showing love as always. That was a start to the morning.
Very
JC.
interesting start. Very interesting.
That was a
start.
very interesting start to the morning. I didn't think he had it in him.
Hey, your dog don't play.
I thought it was GG. Well, it's not that he don't play. It's like he's gotten old. He'll like stalk stuff, but it kind of is like, I'm never gonna catch it. I didn't see it.
Okay.
Yada yada. Bro, like,
no. He's like, do you know who I am?
It surprised the mess out of me because I'm like, I haven't seen you catch anything since you were like 5. And it's mostly because you don't care usually most of the time. We do have breaking news here from Baki. That possum is in heaven on a lifetime deal.
I thought this was NFL talk.
He is signed. He has signed a lifetime contract with the Lord, and he will finish out his career there. Albert, I am literally taking my dog right after this to the vet to make sure that he doesn't have rabies. Like,
no, that
taking him right after. Hey, let's talk a little bit of football here as the Chicago Bears re-sign DeMarco Jackson. This news broke probably about 20 minutes, or I guess 30 minutes technically now, before we ended up going live. Very team-friendly deal on this. And I know some people are looking at this and like, are we really talking about a DeMarco Jackson re-signing? But you know what? The reason I'm in on this, the reason that I am excited about this, even though I did spell his first name wrong, and I will adjust that here as we move along here, is when you talk about DeMarco Jackson coming back to the Bears, you look at a player last season who every time he got into the game, the linebacking crew got better, whether it was a combination of him and TJ Edwards, whether it was a combination of him and Tremaine Edmonds. I think you saw in the playoff game, unfortunately, after TJ got banged up.
Yeah.
The defense truly did look better, especially in the run game with DeMarco Jackson in the lineup. This is a 2-year, $7.5 million contract worth up to $10.5 million. This is somebody who has worked with the Bears DC for years at this point. And JC, what are your thoughts on the signing? And do you think this is going to be one of those, low money deals where you feel good about it now that you feel great about as we get into the season?
Absolutely. I think that DeMarco Jackson put his name on the map last year. As you mentioned, there were a lot of things that happened to the linebacking core as the year got on. And, he was one of the guys that was called upon, to step in when Edmonds went out, when Edwards definitely got hurt. And you had that, I think it was a core of, I don't know who the third person was. I can't remember, but it was
Noah
him,
Sewell,
Ruben
who
Hippolyte.
didn't do much.
Yeah, Noah Sewell. I like Noah Sewell. Noah Sewell's up there.
Hey, bro, listen. Noah Sewell will never be accused of not giving it his all.
No,
but he will also be guilty of running past the guy he's supposed to tackle quite a bit.
That is true. There is that. And so, no, I think you're slowly trying to build your linebacking room back up. Obviously, Tremaine Edmonds is gone, and so there's a need to fill, your depth there and your starters there because, again, Edwards will be coming back from injury, and so we'll have to see how that plays. But well-deserved, and I love the contract. As you mentioned, team-friendly, but I think well-deserved as far as getting the guaranteed money, but also the fact that it can get up to 10.5. What that says to me is that you have a player who has the incentive of trying to work for more. It's not just something that when you get your contract or when you get your money, rather, now you're settled in. This is a player who will continue to be hungry, who will continue to, put forth more effort. And I think that's the part of this deal that I like the most is that you could potentially get up to 10.5 for those couple of years. And I think we're seeing the start of DeMarco Jackson being an impact from the linebacking position.
Yeah, listen, I think you hit the nail on the head there. He's a player who you saw some really good things from last season. And what I love about it is he our new what was why am I blanking on his name right now? That was here with flus. Is he our new Jack Sanborn? Right, DeMarco Jackson wasn't flash. DeMarco Jackson wasn't. Oh my God! Look at the speed on this guy. Look at how he did his job. He knew where he was supposed to be. He got in front of the guy. He made the tackle the right direction. That's a breath of fresh air here. As much as I love Tremaine Edmonds, right? I still think there are too many times where, as he's wrapping a guy up, he falls the wrong direction. I think the Bears did a better job of getting 11 hats to the ball this year. But the one thing about DeMarco Jackson is he forms up really well, wraps a guy up, and doesn't allow him to push him the other direction and lets the rest of the team get in there to help you make the tackle, right? Like it is not flash, it's not glitz, it's not glamour, it's not, and maybe one day it will be those things. Maybe he has the ability to do those things and he just realized, like, I can't take that chance. But he did his job incredibly well. He knew where he was supposed to be, and he got the job done. Last season was his best by far. He accumulated 43 tackles, 3 pass deflections, 2 tackles for loss, 1 QB hit, 1 sack, and 1 interception in 16 games. And realistically speaking, we know it wasn't really 16 games that he was out there where he had the opportunity to go do as much as he did. So I love the fact that they got DeMarco Jackson re-signed in here. I think this is a big one. Another name that the Chicago Bears bring back in is a Daniel Hardy. I think this is a underratedly good signing, Daniel Hardy, as far as a situational pass rusher. I like him for that role. Also, I think what he means to the special teams is I know people don't care about special teams at all, and I am usually the person who is there with you. You don't draft special teams, but Daniel Hardy's one of those players that you don't realize you care about special teams until you go, hey, who was supposed to make that tackle? Hey, who's the guy that was supposed to be right there? And we would see that throughout the year at times where it was like, oh, that was supposed to be Daniel Hardy, but he's now playing defense because we have nobody opposite Montez Sweat. Sorry, I apologize for that. But Daniel Hardy being back in the building, I think, is a good one. We got Baki. By the way, we are going to be live a ton today. We're going to have news everywhere because, we hope so, because of the legal tampering period beginning here at about, 11 p.m. or 11 p.m. 11 a.m. Eastern, I believe, or no, was it 12 a.m. Eastern? It's 12. Jesus Christ, 12 p.m. Right. Eastern. I think it's 11 a.m. Central.
Right.
Jesus Christ, Grady coming with the jokes this morning. Said JC's beard said, F it, I'm calling off work this week.
That's right, Grady. Come on with it, Grady.
Pterodactyl Pops confirming noon Eastern time there. Baki with a little bit of breaking news here around the NFL on this one. The Dolphins have officially released Tua Tagovailoa. He will now hit the market as a quarterback that is out there. That actually does mean something for the Chicago Bears because, listen, the Bears, it seems like the Bears are standing pretty firm asking for a second-round pick for Tyson Bagent.
As they should.
If there are veteran quarterbacks out there that have done it, you're probably going to have to come down on that capital a little bit more. But we'll see what ends up happening there. I think that's one to keep an eye on as well. What are your thoughts on Daniel Hardy coming back, JC? And, I like the move.
I do love the move. I think it's underrated. You mentioned that a lot of people overlook special teams because it's kind of like the not the weaker part of the three phases, but
no, you can say that.
It's overlooked.
Listen, if we're assigning percentages, right?
Yeah,
we're going 50. How would that work? 33 would be even.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
We're probably going 40, 20.
Yeah,
we're probably going 40, 20. Like special teams is important.
I got you.
But usually you pay attention to it when they suck.
Usually special teamers have a lot of players that have that one trick pony kind of characteristic, or they're like a late round pick. And Daniel already represents that. He's the best of that kind of representation. 7th round pick from the Rams in 2022. And then when he came over to the Bears, that's when he started to become more of a key player for us in special teams. I love his tenacity, his intensity to get to the ball. And if you want to talk about special teams kind of being undervalued, look at those weeks where we were kind of questioning Hightower and the special teams performance when they were giving up
every week until they made a game winner
for a while. And so you bringing back somebody who I believe it says he totaled 22 tackles and 1 quarterback hit, played a few snaps even at fullback. And then, of course, he's a rotational piece on the defensive line. And so that's what you want. You want somebody on special teams that will go all out, be one of the first people to the ball to stop the momentum of the other team and kind of put them back on their heels to start their drive. And so I love it, Daniel Hardy. I think that's an underrated get or keep.
Good move there. What are your thoughts on Tua being gone and how that's going to affect the Bagent secret? Bagent man.
Well, I think that there's going to be competition. I heard there was a couple names that could be, in the interest of Miami. Maybe a Malik Willis is due.
I would assume probably Malik Willis.
Pay grade. There's also maybe a Kyler Murray. Maybe it could be different. Maybe even a Joe Flacco. I know there's a couple of quarterbacks that are out there that could be challenging Tyson Bagent for a destination. And so, again, for me, like you mentioned, if the Bears are really, really like adamant about trying to get the best value for him, I'm going to say, hey, try to sell as high as possible. Obviously, starting at second, you're not getting a first, but second, and then if we can pull a third at the most out of a team that needs his services, say in Arizona or whatever the case may be, then yeah. But I mean, we all knew Tua was going to be done come the start of this free agency period officially, and so. There's going to be a need. We'll see if Tyson is going to go there.
Listen, I love Tyson. Let's be real. Bottom line is, if somebody offers you a 4th, you need to take it.
Okay.
Tyson Bagent has played. Tyson Bagent has played in 2 games. He's 3-6. It's not to say he's a bad quarterback. It's not to say he couldn't benefit the team if you brought him in. You need to trade Tyson Bagent if somebody offers you meaningful draft capital for a backup quarterback that has played in 2 NFL games and that you hope never plays. A 4th is enough. Like I get it. The value we don't want to move on from him unless it's for the right price. I understand that. The right price for a player that you expect not to play is a 4th round pick.
I guess it just depends on the desperation of whatever team is out there. And so if Miami goes the route of getting Malik and then Arizona's saying, well, we know Kyler Murray is going to go somewhere else, do they get desperate? Like, do you feed on the what'd you say?
He died. Somebody commented the other day, I was like, who keeps breathing on the mic? And I just commented back. I was like, who's breathing on the mic.
Yes, right. I'm at the very end, a little residual of this code. But no, that's the game that you play, and Ryan Poles plays it very well, where maybe he's a little patient with the process of some of these quarterbacks going to certain places and seeing the value that they get back, and then kind of comparing it. Or does he try to get ahead of it and say, hey, I got Tyson out here, second, come on, versus, other ones that might have less value. So I don't know. I trust Ryan Poles to get as much out of the deal as possible.
Listen, I trust him to get it. The DJ deal showed me that, right? Like, he's going to try and get everything he can for the deal. We were sitting here in shock that DJ Moore went for a second. But realistically speaking, it's a player who's not going to play. Or if he is going to play, you're in trouble no matter what, right? Like, I love Tyson. Yeah. I think that Tyson can run this system. I don't agree with Ben Johnson. Tyson's probably one of the 32 best quarterbacks in the NFL.
In the league. Yeah.
But he's not going to be that sitting behind Caleb Williams, and he brings you more value back by being able to go out and get a player that could potentially be a starter than somebody who is sitting on the bench. Now, the things that we don't see him do, I think are valuable as well, but I think you bring somebody in who also has those traits. That's how Green Bay did it for years. That's how the Patriots did it. You bring guys in that push the starting quarterback to be better than who he is. Tyson Bagent is that guy. He was that guy last year. I believe that's why he got paid. It helped Caleb. It pushed Caleb to be better than what Caleb was at that point. I think that there's a part that plays into that. But you don't overvalue that, right? Because a player that's actually on the field making an impact, play in and play out, is more valuable than that. Now, bottom line, don't draft a punter. we're done drafting kickers. We're done drafting punters.
We got our guy. That's why we're done, Pat.
Do we have our guy?
You showed respect. He's not.
I don't know. I don't know. By the way, we are over 100 and over 200 in that chat. Over 300 in that chat.
Okay.
300. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Excuse me. Go Blue with the super chat said, do we restructure Cole Kmet or will he become a surprise trade candidate? I think we extend Cole Kmet. I think you extend Cole Kmet and you lower that number. You want to get the number down for what he's making. You don't love what, the production is as far as numbers. But yet again, just like the same argument I made for DJ Moore, I'll make it for Cole Kmet. The stuff that doesn't show up on the stat sheet is incredibly important. The stuff that doesn't show up on the numbers is incredibly important. Cole Kmet in 12 personnel was phenomenal last season. Cole Kmet blocking had improved vastly last season. I don't know what Jim Dre added to the arsenal, but it was getting done out there. Maybe it was just the fact that you get called out in a major way if you don't make those blocks. I think that what Cole Kmet means to the team, and it's not just him being able to go out there and do the little things, right? Cole Kmet makes the game tying touchdown in that Rams game. He's also somebody who keeps himself incredibly ready to go out there and make plays. I think because of that, you got to look at Cole Kmet as somebody who you probably want to keep around long term here. I think you extend him and you keep him on this roster and just lower that cap number.
I agree with that. No, Cole Kmet, you have to keep this tight end group kind of sustained. I mean, it's probably one of the best in the league, outside of a few that I can name. And the resurgence, or not the resurgence, but the continued progression of Colston Loveland, and being your tight end one, you need that backup, that reliable guy that can do all of the other things very well. And Cole Kmet showed himself to do that, like you mentioned, in 12 personnel. When even he was relied upon, I feel like he got a little bit better as the season went on in being able to kind of come down with the ball. There were a few times where he had issues with drops, and it honestly irritated the heck out of me in a few games. But he was a little bit more reliable as the season went on. And obviously at the end of the season, when had that amazing catch at the very end where we thought we almost won the game. And so you got to have your guy, your red zone threat, your guy who can obviously block. Cole Kmet is someone who I would definitely keep around and try to see if you can restructure his contract to free up more money for other needs.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening here moving forward. Hit that like button if you have not done so. Subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Now for the juicy news of the day.
We got juice.
This came out probably Friday or Saturday, maybe. Was this some Saturday news that everyone was losing their mind over? Jaylen Carter for Jordan Schultz is being called on by teams around the league, and Howie Roseman is accepting those calls. So listening in on potential trade conversation for a Jaylen Carter. And when asked, when the big question is, okay, well, what teams do we think are possibly in on it? Let me get the name here. Give me a second as I pull the name up here, because the Chicago Bears were listed among those teams there. Here we go. Easton Butler from, hate to give him credit for it, from CBSI, the Packer Report. 24/7 coverage as well, 247 Sports as well, dropping that he's hearing of the teams named here, the Chicago Bears, one of those 5 teams that were named in that. Jordan, JC, me and you talked about this over the weekend, and we thought that this was one. Now, I will say this. The Packers are another team named in there. And if the calls on the Packers are there, you might have to have some conversations.
Do you play defense?
You might have to play a little defense by playing a little offense. But should the Chicago Bears be all in on Jaylen Carter?
Here's the thing.
Listen, he's 25. How old is Jaylen Carter? 26. You're all in, buddy. You're not getting them cheap. 24. Oh my God.
Yeah, I was about to say he got to be a little younger. He's still.
You're not getting them cheap. You're all in.
Look, at the very least, you kick the tires on it. You see what the kind of deal would be, the details of the deal would be, and you call Howie and see exactly what he would want back. Jaylen Carter undoubtedly is one of the better defensive tackles in the league, and he causes havoc from the interior. We all know the issues around Jaylen Carter. It seems as if he needs to be around a team full of veterans, which is the reason why Ryan Post continuously traded with the Philadelphia Eagles and surpassed him twice, I believe, in the draft. With the Darnell Wright route. And because at that time, they didn't have the structure or the team or the coaching staff to bring Jaylen Carter in and kind of make sure that he was on his best behavior. Philadelphia did. You had a whole bunch of people over there that made sure that he did his best to kind of chill out. Now that he's kind of solidified himself as one of the better defensive tackles, we still see he has not necessarily off the field issues. They're still on the field where, you're spitting at a quarterback and you're doing stuff to really be a detriment to your team. And so if he's available for trade, that does kind of say something. But at the end of the day, you cannot deny his production. And I go back again to the fact that we were so irritated with CJGJ when he was causing havoc and being an annoyance to, Javon Wims and the Bears. And we're like, this dude is irritable. Mm-hmm. But when you bring him on your team and you see the production that he had, essentially when we first got him off the street, it was like, oh, we love this guy. He ruffles a few feathers. He gets under people's skin. But when he's on your team, that's what you like. And so do you bring a Jaylen Carter in now because we now have the infrastructure, we now have the coaching staff and the people around him to make sure that he is disciplined enough to at least stay on the field and not do anything dumb? Possibly. And so, again, like I said, I would kick the tires on seeing what you would need to get or give.
I'm fine with kicking the tires. Listen, value-wise, Jaylen Carter was drafted 12th. You're probably giving up the 25th pick, right? You're probably giving up the 25th pick. That's still good value, right? You're getting a 24-year-old all-pro player who was second in defensive rookie of the year.
It was behind. Was it behind? Was that Jared Verse?
No, he was the year before Jared Verse. Who was the defensive rookie of the year that year? NFL. Hold on, give me a sec. Let me scroll. Will Anderson. Ooh.
Oh well, yeah.
That'll do it. Second in defensive rookie of the year. has been a Pro Bowl caliber player, was a second team All-Pro his second year in the league, and was a Pro Bowler last year. Yeah, I know I don't really care about the Pro Bowlers, although I feel like with the line, it's a little different. I feel like with position players, the Pro Bowl kind of means that. With the line, I feel like it's a little different because you really got to dig into the numbers to be voted one of those top guys. But right, he missed time last year dealing with a little bit of injury. Also missed time last year because he spit on Dak Prescott, and that was just stupid. But I will say this: here's the part where it's tough for me. On one hand, phenomenally talented player. If you can get him, you're probably getting him for pretty good value. He answers your 3-tech question, and you allow Shamar Turner to kind of grow next to a dominant player. Why is Howie Roseman getting rid of him? Why doesn't Vic Fangio want him? Let me play Wendy here. Let me my Brian Windhorse. What's going on? What's going on in Philly? What's happening out there? Because because every number tells you he's a really good player.
Yeah.
Every number tells you he's on a Hall of Fame trajectory. Why don't they want him? That is a massive, massive question for me. Talented as all get out. Something's wrong. But on the flip side of that, is this the spot where you can kind of get him to lock in, bring him in here to work with Grady Jarrett? Now, he's got vets on Philly, but did Philly just become a bad situation like we saw with Nick Sirianni teams? Like, it's not this shock. It's not this, oh, my God, this is a weird situation where nobody likes each other. Like, I'm okay with you being a dude that's rough around the edges like CJGJ. The difference with CJGJ is CJGJ could have been cut and there were no issues with it. You trade a first-round pick, you ain't cutting Jaylen Carter. You're paying Jaylen Carter. He's going to be here for years. Is that going to be a distraction, a disruption in the locker room that you can't remove yourself from? Those are all the questions that you got to ask there. If he could be traded, I would rather have the talent than not. I believe in this coaching staff that much. I think that Dennis Allen knows the game, but you got to ask, why don't Howie Roseman want him? Why doesn't Vic Fangio want him? If you don't believe in Howie, we all believe in Vic. We all believe in Vic. We know Vic ain't stupid.
Yeah.
Why don't Vic want him?
He's doing his best Will Smith impression. Why he don't want me, man?
Why he don't want me, man?
And you know what? This is something. Shout out to Steve-O, because this is kind of like my sentiments as well. You said for me, I feel like if he's a headache in Philly, he's going to probably be a headache here. But as I even told you when I texted you the other day, I was like, Does the headache of him on the team outweigh him being a headache versus opponents?
Is the juice worth the squeeze?
Is it worth? And that's my thing is, if you're getting someone who's a potential All-Pro, Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champion, Hall of Famer, maybe even trajectory, like maybe you still want to go down that route and just really find a plan to really keep him focused and concentrated. And then you work with all of like I said, you got to maybe bring other veterans around him that will keep him, calm and collected. Whether that's, you get a Cam Jordan in the building, and then you got Dennis Allen, who is, very good at continuing to develop those type of players. And so again, that's where you put the trust in, is the defensive coordinator, the coaching staff, the culture that has already been built here. Ben Johnson and his no-nonsense way of dealing with his players. Like, for me, that's where I have the most confidence in, is that if you were to put JC or Jaylen Carter, I should say, in a Bears uniform.
JC, get out there.
That's right. I'm not Jaylen Carter, I'll tell you that. Then that's where I would think we would be fine with bringing him in. It could backfire, but it could also be fire.
Yeah, I think that It's such a tough one because the talent is there. For the people that are like, the Eagles can't pay everybody. I think you'd find room to pay a 24-year-old All-Pro on a Hall of Fame trajectory. It would be shocking to me if all of a sudden the Eagles just went, "Whoa, we don't want to pay young guys that are elite and that are really good." Now, one thing, I mean, like you can look at the tape last year, a little bit of a decline. I thought he got a little bit out of, in that Bears game. The one thing that stood out to me was he got a little bit over his skis a lot in that game, where he was just barely out of position, and that's why the Bears were able to take so much advantage of him. I think those are things that can be cleaned up. It's footwork, it's experience in the game, it's knowledge. I think those are things that you could find a way to fix. But bottom line for me is the biggest thing. The question mark. Howie Roseman don't F up. Howie Roseman is one of the best GMs in football.
He is.
It's not logical to move on from him. Something's going on that we don't know. And listen, that's Ryan Pohl's job to know it. Right? It's Ryan Pohl's job to figure out if they're interested in it. Now, and I think, with that, if you find out something that's crazy and the Packers are calling and you're like, okay, go over to the Packers. Maybe that's advantage Bears by addition to the Packers. But I don't want to see him and Micah Parsons together. That would be terrifying.
Lord have mercy, no.
Sweet baby Jesus.
And now Zaire Franklin.
And adding Zaire Franklin into that mix. Listen, the Packers have made some serious upgrades here. The Bears are going to try to do so via the draft. But I'm to me, when I look at this, I see the kind of player that he is. I see the production from an interior position. There's no logical reason to move on from him.
Here's another angle, maybe, just maybe, and I understand maybe Howie is saying, maybe we need to retool. Philly essentially is still technically at the very least a playoff contending team. They still got all of their pieces. They still have a really solid defense, but maybe he's saying, this is the year that retool a little bit because they took a step back in a sense after they won the Super Bowl, and so maybe does he think that, or is it just a matter of maturity? At the end of the day, Jaylen Carter is still 24 years old. He's been through quite a lot, and he's been in the news quite a lot at a young age. And so is it a matter of maybe maturity, and over time, the more older he gets, he calms down. And I like another one of Steve-O's points. Maybe he comes to Chicago, he turns back and he turns into Ndamukong Suh, just a terror on the field. And so it's a chance that you take because the talent is clearly there. You look back in time, you look at a Michael Vick who went through what he went through, but clearly when he got past it and he got back into the league, Philly was like, hey, we want Michael Vick because he's clearly talented. He's still Michael Vick. Yeah. And so those are the chances you take. And maybe Ryan Poles, again, maybe he already did his due diligence by passing on him twice in the draft. So maybe he's personally like, I'm not dealing with this. I'm not doing it, even though we're reportedly interested. Yeah. So I just don't know.
And Ndamukong Suh was the comparison I was gonna make, right? Because even with all of the issues that he ends up going through, right? He still wins 2 more All-Pros after his rookie year. I was an All-Pro his rookie year, was an All-Pro second team twice in his career, was still massively productive at the end of his career when he got around some of those veteran guys and guys that could help him. He was one of those veteran guys, but when he got around some of those guys that were like, listen, this is more important than you stepping on his ankle. This is more important than you punching him in the face a little bit late.
Yeah.
And I do think you need to have that guy on the roster. I could care less about the whole choir boy. He's a good guy. I think you need a couple of guys that are the a-holes in the building. But with that being said, I also think you need to make sure you have those guys that can control that can harness that power and say, this is the time for you to let that out. Right now ain't the time for you to do that. Is that going to cost you games? Is that going to cost you moments? Is that like those are all the things that you have to take into account? But bottom line, like Ndamukong Suh is a great name because he was a force in this league, one of the best pass rushers from an interior position that we have ever seen. And so, I mean, he's got a Hall of Fame career essentially. 71.5 sacks from the interior in 13 years. But are you going to be, 2 years into this, 3 years into this going, we appreciate you coming through. We'll see you later.
I mean, if you were to compare it to say another team in history, and I'm going the basketball route, who was known. I mean, they were dubbed the bad boys, the Detroit Pistons. Like they had a reputation of being a bunch of knuckleheads and being kind of over the top when it came to the physicality of the game and getting under your skin and doing things that technically you wouldn't get away with nowadays in the league. But, and I can't remember for the life of me their coach, but they had a coach who was very, very good and kept them obviously at bay and did what he needed to do, and they won championships. And so for me, again,
Who's
it goes
coach?
back.
The Pistons?
Yes.
Chuck Daly.
Chuck Daly, thank you. That name escaped me for the life of me. And you compare that to nowadays. Like for me, again, when he was drafted, you didn't have the team you have now. I definitely wouldn't trust him with Thrasher and whatever nickname Matt Eberflus would have gave him if he'd have drafted him here. Come on, yeah, come on, Spitter. Yeah, I don't know. That'd have been bad. That'd been real bad. But for me, it's like you got Ben Johnson in the building. You have Dennis Allen. You have Ryan Poles, who even for me is a little bit more mature in the way he goes about his job. Like you have an infrastructure and again, a culture that has already been created this past year where you can bring some knuckleheads in the building and it can still do wonders for the team.
Now, on the flip side of this, and to play, devil's advocate to my own point here, the only thing that we really have to point to is him spitting on Buddy. Now, terrible person. That's wild to do. And somebody was like, I think we saw the video, right? Dak spit on him, and so he spit back or something to that effect.
Yeah,
but
he got
body,
caught.
We shouldn't be swapping body fluids on a football field.
Yeah.
I texted every NFL player that I had in my phone, Lance, J-Mac, Waddle, Yurko, all of them. And I said, have you ever seen somebody spit on somebody on a football field? And they all went, no. By the way, most of them played in an era where you had some mugs that probably would have spit on you.
Yeah. You get
He's
your
like,
head
I've seen,
knocked off.
and they, like J-Mac was like, you see some stuff at the bottom of that pile that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you get at the bottom of the pile, somebody try to get some fingers in a spot
Whoa.
that you don't want some fingers in.
Hello.
Or maybe you do. But I mean, yeah, but
what?
I to each their own, you know what I mean? But
wow. You gotta get that ball loose some kind of way, huh? Like, what's going on? Hey, take the ball.
Yeah, I found the hole up the middle. But no, the bottom line of it all to me is, you have to, outside of that, it's not like we've been going through years of going, oh, Jaylen Carter, what a detriment he is to the Eagles. You know what I mean? Like, it really is just that incident. Massive incident, wild incident. Let's keep all body fluids inside each other's own bodies.
Yeah, right. Let's retain that.
I'm not saying it's a small thing, but that is the only thing that we have ever heard about him as far as the NFL goes. Going back to college, everything that went on with the vehicle situation, that's back then.
Yeah.
And condolences to the people that were lost in that. But like, since he's been in the NFL, it's not like we've been sitting here every year going, Jaylen Carter, what a problem. This guy, we haven't even really talked about him like he's been in Ndamukong Suh. Remember, Ndamukong Suh was like stepping on people his rookie year.
Bro, that man was causing havoc.
And Ndamukong Suh was slamming people on their necks.
He was a teddy bear off the field, like you said, but when he got on the field, that man's brain switched into I need to be your worst nightmare.
It was like, hey, where's that line? Let me cross it. Like he was like, so I think that's the portion of this that you also got to shoot him a little bail on. David Gasparis said Gasparis, 1697. That sounds like a phenomenal tequila, don't it?
Ooh, yeah.
Gasparis,
Yeah.
1697.
Añejo Gasparis.
David's out here giving shots. I agree. We need to build our defense through free agency and the draft, but I would love to have signed wide receiver Dobbs for a vet presence to share snaps with Burden. I'm cool.
Yeah, I want Romeo.
Yeah, I'm good. I'd rather roll with the young guys we got now. Let's keep the guys we got on the building. All right. Listen, we want to get to this final topic before we get up out of here. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. As always, hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. There's a lot of Bears on this team that are going to hit the open market today. There are also players on the free agent market that we have talked about ad nauseum here. We want to talk about our 3 most important free agents for the Chicago Bears to bring back. JC, I'll let you start on the floor here. Who's number 1 for you, JC, for the Bears to sign in free agency or to bring back that was on the team?
To sign in free agency, for me, I feel like you're probably, and there's some rumors that they're going to let Jaquan Brisker walk. I believe Jeremy Fowler put that out there.
Yeah.
And so it's probably very important that you retain one of your safeties. I know they can go the draft route. There's some strong names in college that are coming out this year. But the season that Kevin Byard had was really, really phenomenal. Pro Bowler, one of the best in the league at taking the ball away. I think you re-sign Kevin Byard to whatever he's worth. Not even a team-friendly deal. I believe maybe I want to say the $13 to $14 million range, maybe.
Yeah.
For him per year. So I want to see them at least get him back.
Yeah, KB is one of the names on my list as well. Outside of just the production, I don't think he's going to be the interception guy he was last year. I just don't. Like the NFL catches up to you, and there's always a decline. The leader he is in that locker room is worth it, though, right? As long as he's not out there getting cooked. Excuse me. The leadership that he could provide for that locker room is something that you can't undersell. And it's something that we have seen him do throughout the year. I think he sets a tone in that locker room defensively. And he is somebody who you are excited to have as a part of your team if you are going to bring in a Jaylen Carter, right? Because he's the guy who goes over to Tyree Stevenson and says, stop being a knucklehead, lock back in, we got to make another play. I would love to see KB back here. I think when you talk about guys who the leadership outweighs the production, he's one of those guys. By the way, he had a ton of production this year. So would love to see Kevin Byard back in the building. Who's number 2 for you, JC?
Number 2 for me is a guy, and right now he is beating out Father Time. And he's someone who is familiar with, Dennis Allen from the Saints. That is linebacker Mario Davis.
Oh, I didn't expect you to go there. Okay.
Yeah, for whatever reason, and I believe for the past 5 or 6 seasons, I thought I read, he's had over 100 tackles. He's been obviously a pros pro. He still plays at a very high level. He's kind of remind me of a Bobby Wagner, where they're in kind of old in the tooth in the sense of just the age at linebacker, but they still get the job done. I wouldn't mind a DeMario Davis coming on this team.
That's a solid name there. You're right. Literally every year since his second season, he has had over 100 tackles total in the league. He's 14 years into the league, 37 years old though.
37. So he's definitely not going to get a huge deal.
Yeah, he is your veteran in the room. He is we want to bring a solid name in here to make sure that the guys know what they're doing.
Yeah. I like it.
I'm not mad at it. I think priority wise, he's an end of free agency signing for me if you do it. Priority wise for me, listen, there's a big name that you could go after.
Hello.
And I think it's the obvious one that we're hoping the Chicago Bears could go after. I think it could be at this point, if you're going to do it, prioritize it via free agency. Now, depending on what you do via trade, if you are in on Jaylen Carter, but Trey Hendrickson's a name that you got to find a way to at least be in the conversation on. I wouldn't break the bank for him. I'm gonna be honest with you. I would put it out there and say, listen, Trey, like there is a situation here where you can come to a team and a system with a coach that where you can win. If that's not a spot that you want to be in, here's the number that we're at. I'd say probably around, and I know he's made more, but I'd probably say with him coming off an injury, I'm living around that $25 million range. And with restructures, you can be okay with that. I'm not going higher than that. I'm not paying you $30 million, bro. I'm not paying him $35 million because this is literally a let's bring him in stopgap kind of player. Let's bring him in. Let's hope he's still dominant. By the way, here comes probably some kid out of college that they're going to draft in the second round or in the first round that we believe in more.
Yeah.
Now, to me, I don't think that that's the offseason that the Bears have shown you that they're going to have. But if you're going to prioritize free agents, I think that that's one that you can look at and have a conversation on. But if teams are willing to break the bank over them, you don't go over that.
I do like Trey.
I mean, listen, if you want to swap, I'll throw a second name in here. How about an Odafe Owe?
Now, I think he's underrated. I do like
Odafe Owe?
I like
if you want to talk about a long-term option.
Okay.
Because to me, I look at him and 27 years old, has been really good with the Ravens, 260 pounds, kind of fits that DA mold that he wants, 7.5 sacks last season in total, kind of got moved around there. All of those sacks, I believe, came when he was with the Chargers. And I love what Odafe Owe has shown over the last couple of years. Like you've seen him have a 10-sack season. You've seen him have a 7.5 sack season. I've seen people compare him to, what Dayo Adangbo did in his time in Indianapolis. I don't think that they're the same player because I think you saw Odafe Owe show you a little bit more. I do think that he is probably another Montez Sweat. But again, I'm bringing this guy in with the expectation that you're also going to go find that guy via the draft.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I do like a Odafe Owe as like that secondary option if you don't go the Trey Hendrickson route. I was obviously out on Trey if because I wanted Max, but I mean if Trey is a consolation prize, you clearly go for Trey. If he can stay healthy and give you that production that he did a few years back, then clearly you're going to pay him top dollar. My last one, I actually got a couple of people that I was kind of going back and forth on, but in particular, my third guy that I would want, or the first of my third guy that I would want, is Alontae Taylor, cornerback from New Orleans. Again, New Orleans Saints. I'm not sure if Dennis Allen was there for him,
but Dennis Allen drafted him, didn't he?
Okay, that could be true because he is 27, so he's probably been in the league.
Yeah, DA drafted him.
Yeah, so I like Alontae Taylor. I remember there were a couple of times that when they played the Bears, he seemed like he had a lot of impact on the game. I saw him time and again being in the middle of plays that were pretty pivotal. Pass breakups this past year. I think he had a couple of interceptions, couple of sacks, good at tackling from the quarterback position. Yeah. And again, a guy who's in his prime. And you're talking about probably needing to fill maybe one of those spots at cornerback, with Jalen Johnson, with Kyler, just to continue to work on the depth there. Because you had, what is his name? Terrell Smith go down. Yep. And then others that went down. Tariq Stevenson.
Zay Frazier coming back. Zay Frazier went down.
Yeah, Zay's coming back. And so, maybe they go the route, maybe they don't. Now, the other guy that I do want to mention too, since you brought two up, I do want to talk about John Franklin Myers, the interior. I think that he's also another name that I think you could get that would, if you don't go the Jaylen Carter route, obviously, I think that John Franklin Myers is a very, very good interior rusher and edge rusher as well. He's kind of a versatile player off the Broncos that if you bring him here, he can kind of solidify that position too.
I'm surprised you didn't go with a Cam Jordan. Would have thought you'd be all in over a Cam Jordan.
10.5 sacks the past season. I like Cam. I feel like that's the obvious choice. I feel like that probably is the guy that we're going to get, to be honest with you. Out of everybody we mentioned, that probably is going to be the guy. Obviously ties to DA. I think there's a familiarity there. He's available, and he again is been productive even at his age. Cam Jordan, I wouldn't mind him as a consolation. Like if that's the worst you do, he's fine. He's a vet. I think at the very least he's going to give you decent numbers. I think he'll be better than kind of what we thought we would be getting in a Grady Jarrett, who's still serviceable, but I think Cam Jordan has a little bit more juice left in the tank.
I love Marcus Adelman's comment. He said, super chat here. He said, I was okay with Owe, but you putting him in the same sentence as Dio makes me want nothing to do with him. DTSD. Dio traumatic stress disorder. We got Dio causing people. We got Dio causing people stress out here.
Oh, boy.
My third and final one, although we all listed 4 here, but my third and final one, or fourth and final one, I don't care. It's my show. Taylor Decker. Taylor Decker requested a release from the Lions after discussions with the Lions. I don't know what that means for what his expected future was with the Lions, but Taylor Decker was still a incredibly impactful player for the Detroit Lions last year.
Yeah.
You have a need at offensive tackle. The expectation is that offensive tackle is not going, or that Ozzie Trapillo is not going to be back to play offensive tackle this year. I'll tell you what, Taylor Decker as a vet has been very durable. He can play all 17 games for you. He can get you to a playoff scenario. If you're going to be in on anything, give Ozzie the season to get himself right.
Right.
Don't rush this back. Let him get comfortable. Yes, he's going to lose most of the season anyway. If you can have a guy in there where he can lose just about all of the season, I would be okay with that because I want him to be 110% when he steps on the field after that injury. Do not, and it's not rushing him back, right? The timeline for him to be back would probably be toward the end of the season. If you can afford it, I would say just let him. Your second season, unfortunately, is going to be lost to you, young man. But you know what? We want to see you back out here in your third season. Get very cerebral with the game. And Taylor Decker's a player that affords you that because I think Ozzie is a long-term answer at left tackle. But that injury is very serious. Very serious. And you want to give him as much time as possible.
Love Taylor Decker. I love the fact, again, familiarity with Ben Johnson. I feel like that's a left tackle that is still one of the more better left tackles in the league. At the very least, he is going to give you very consistent play there where you don't have to worry about him, especially right alongside Joe Thuney. I think that would be a nice pairing on the left side of that line. And you're back in business with the protection for Caleb. So no, I love that.
Thuney and Decker?
Yes. That would be that says Super Bowl to me. We got somebody who thinks we're going to win a Super Bowl if we do a couple of things.
Emiliano, Pay Linderbaum, super chat here from Emiliano. Shout out to him. Said Pay Linderbaum, sign Cam Jordan, cheap. Draft Falk in the first. Galladay at linebacker and Branch at wide receiver in the second round. Wheatley, strong safety in the third.
I like Wheatley.
You win a Super Bowl.
Yeah. I like Wheatley from Penn State.
There's some good names in there. Listen, the Bears have a ton of options. You got 4 picks in the top 100. I think you can really, really address your defense. 4 picks in the top 100 and a draft where it seems like defensive players are everywhere. So, like, to me, I think this is a really big step where you can build. You'll talk about this as one of those historic drafts that we look back at and go, man, remember when we rebuilt the monsters of the Midway? If you get it right, those players are available to you.
Yeah.
Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. It seems that my vocal cords have reached the limit of this show. As for some reason I'm all choked up now. Also got to pick up a dead possum, so that's gonna be fun. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. As always, hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Let us know how you guys feel in the comments below. Make sure that you stay tapped in with us on the channel today. We're going to have a ton of content coming you guys' way. As always, for Mr. Media himself, Jordan JC, it is your boy Pat the Designer. Back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bed down. One love. I'm not looking forward to this possible
we had
thing.
another super chat earlier. Somebody said shout out. He just off the channel. I couldn't scroll up to it, but shout out to you, man. It was a $4.99 super chat from one of our fans.
What we get? ISO Noah.
ISO Noah.
Caught
Yeah,
y'all
shout out
live.
to you.
Y'all be having me rolling. Go Bears. Crazy. We could have drafted JC. Now we trading for him. Bulls need to get it together. Yeah. Just finish it off with that. Bulls need to get it together.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, they suck.
On purpose.
You ain't lying.